So welcome back to the channel. It's been I think 2 weeks since the Rover sold now, and I was ready for another project. I like to have a project. Now a lot of the cars I've had recently have been smaller projects, tinkering, welding, bits and bobs, and I wanted a full project. But I wanted something worthwhile, something worth putting your money into, something that was going to be worth good money when it was done and be a collector's thing and so on. And I wanted something I could keep for years, not just a year or a few months. And there's been one particular car in the history of all the cars I've owned that I've owned before and I always regretted selling, and that is the car I've now bought back as my next restoration project. Now this is going to be a slow project, don't expect fast updates, so without further ado, and we'll have a talk about it, here it is. I know, amazing. So it's a 1958 Jaguar. It's a Mk1, the predecessor to obviously the Mark II. The Mark II looks very similar. It had indicator pods on the top of the wing, side light pods on the top of the wings and indicators here, whereas this has got the side lights down here. It had bigger windscreens. It had smaller chrome door pillars and a wider track back axle, a completely different dash. The dash in one of these is very similar to an XK120, 140, 150 type dash with the gauges in the centre and the big 4-spoke steering wheel. Smaller rear lights, a much smaller rear windscreen. Yeah, quite a host of differences. Whereas a Mark 1's a very, very rare car. It's the car that Mike Hawthorne used to race, and the one he actually died in as well, a 3.4 manual overdrive, and that's what this car is. So it's a 1958, as I say. It's a 3.4 XK engine, manual overdrive gearbox. The car's all matching numbers. It's had quite an interesting life. It was exported to Malaya when it was brand new, to the Cycle and Carriage Company, and then came back probably, well, quite a long time ago. And obviously it's not been on the road for a very long time. I bought the car 10 years ago, and I rescued it off a Banger Racing website and didn't really know what to do with it. It didn't have much history with it, it didn't have a logbook, and I just knew it was something special and it needed saving. I sold it after quite a lot of trouble getting the vehicle registered and things like that, and had a bit of trouble getting it all sorted. Kind of lost my motivation with it and sold it. Now, out of all the cars I've owned, this is the one I always said I wished I'd kept. So I tracked it down about a year ago, and it was being stored in a barn, as you can probably see from the dust on the bonnet, not far from actually where I live. The guy who restores vintage race cars, and he was going to turn it into a race car, so you'd have been seeing it at places like Goodwood and so on. Now, he'd never got round to doing it, so he was willing to sell it. This is a year, 18 months ago. Unfortunately, at the time I had a twin planar Vitesse and a 2.6 SD1, and although I tried to sell them both, they didn't sell, so it kind of didn't happen. And then, so I thought I'd kind of lost it again, which was gutting, because they are getting rarer and rarer, you know. I think they only made about 8,000 3.4 manual overdrive Mark 1s in right-hand drive. So very, you know, that was when they were new, so however many left now, not very many. So I managed to track it down again when my SD1 sold a couple of weeks ago, and we've got it bought. So I've got the engine and gearbox. They're being stored at the moment. I've got to go and pick them up. The grille is knocking about again, and some other little bits of trim, but it's basically as you see it. I'm under no illusions, it's a huge project, but it's actually a lot more solid than it looks. Starting from front, really, all the underneath has been red lead primed in the past, so there are no massive holes in any of the inner wings. Cross member and crow's feet, although we'll probably want replacing, they aren't bad. And all the lips, again, although it's covered in surface rust, the lips are very solid. The panel in there that usually goes, the side panel, the radiator mounts, it just goes on, you know. And the chassis legs, I mean, that looks like rust, but it's just flaking under seal, you know. It's all very solid, although it looks terrible. So it's all there. Even the bonnet's not bad, just started to go a little bit frilly. There's a lot of stuff missing, bumpers are missing. Basically, if you don't see it in this video, it's missing, apart from the grille and the engine and gearbox. So the same on this side. Again, all red lead primed. Again, the crow's feet and cross member aren't actually that bad. Sills want replacing definitely, although the inners are very solid. The vehicle itself, inside, is not bad. I mean, again, the floors are very, very solid. There's not much rust there at all, surface rust at best. And again on this side, it looks terrible, but underneath it all, it's really solid. All this just wipes off. You can see the original seam. There's not much by way of an interior. Dashers are available, but obviously this side piece is there, but the clocks would have been in the middle, and then like another glove box on that side. The transmission tunnel cover is removable. That's where the manual, obviously, gearbox would be. I think that differs to the automatic cars. Now the car was originally white, and it would have had this pale blue interior. Obviously all the wood trim around it. So I'm missing the trims for the front, wood trims, all that kind of thing, which I'll need to find. Not that they're going to stay either, it all needs doing. So yeah, quite a bit to do inside. Headlining is still there, but will obviously want replacing. Everything shuts nicely. And then onto the back, again more genuine barn find dust. Quite a nice registration. Coventry registration number, RW. The old Le Mans cars, the D-type long nose was 774 RW, I believe, which is obviously a Coventry reg, so it's got quite a nice reg on it. Missing the rear light lenses, missing badges, missing this, but again, along the back, it's not too bad. It's okay. I mean, I'm under no illusions. This is a year's project, not a month's project. Years and years project. But again, in the back, the rear arches, inner arches, not bad. Boot floor, not bad. Covered in rust and dirt and things, but not too bad. So the idea is, for this one, is we're going to do it right. We're going to do it properly. It's going to be a big project, and we're going to start from here. So I'll be systematically stripping parts off it and cleaning them up, bagging them and tagging them. The suspension will be coming off it. The engine and gearbox will get rebuilt at home, and so will the suspension. The body of the car is actually I'm going to go and get it stripped. So it's going to be stripped back to bare metal, and we'll start from there. So it'll be full bare metal and etch prime, and then we'll start with the rust repairs, outer sills, cross member and crow's feet if it needs them, and any other little bits. There's bound to be some bits that we find once it's stripped that need doing. So yeah, this is the new project. It's a big one. It's going to take a long time, but I'll keep posting updates. So like, share, comment down below what you think of it. It divides opinions, this one, but it'll be a good one. Oh, the car's called Boris. His name's Boris. It's been called Boris for 10 years now, and that name sticks, so it's staying with him. So yeah, more soon when I start stripping it down, ready to get it stripped and etch primed. Thanks for watching. See you soon.